hoops to talk about. Sorry, Knicks fans. Let's get to the game, shall we? Pacers, thanks. You know what? John Haliburton in the house, and that could only mean one thing. Tyrese Haliburton would have himself an evening. Best playoff game of his career, I have to say. Multiple game winners. He's out already in the postseason, and this one still stands out. We'll get to the superstar combo, but 32, 12, 15 assists, 0 turnovers. First player ever with 30, 10, 15, and the 0 turnovers. That is amazing to me. Let's go. Lou, I'll start with you. And by the way, just to give you some behind the scenes here, this superstar conversation is going to take up a lot of our time and brain space for the next probably 7 days. But we start with Tyrese Haliburton. Is he now considered a superstar?
I think he's a budding superstar.
Okay.
Along with a lot of our young all-stars in the league. Superstar is a different status. That is the perennial thing. That comes with impact. That comes with influence. You know, once the Pacers go on the road and they're selling out other arenas and you see in Haliburton jerseys and you start to see that impact league-wide, that's what puts you in a superstar conversation. You know, in our business, you probably have 4 or 5 superstars at a time, and that's kind of being that's being nice. That's being, you know, a little greedy when you think about it. And then you start talking about guys that are legacy acts. Your LeBrons, your Steph Curry.
Wait, so do they count in the 4 or 5 superstars? Or
they do because they're grandfathered in. But then again, but you have budding superstars. You know, you got your SGAs, you got your Jalen Browns, your Jason Tatums, your Lukas. Tyrese is in that conversation with those guys. You know, and when you're starting to get from point A to point B in your career, that's when those things begin to, but solidified today, no, it's a lot of work to be done when you're trying to reach that status. That is the pinnacle status. And I think that's somewhere that he's still fighting to get to.
Yeah, I think there's levels. There's levels.
Sure,
I think there's stars, there's superstars, and then there's mega stars. Like Steph Curry.
Whoa, we're adding mega to this?
If Steph Curry is a superstar, Tyrese Haliburton can't be because they're not on the same level, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Of fame and global recognition and impact of the game and everything that comes with the superstar. It's a fun argument. It's silly, but he's really good. I think we should just embrace what he's doing on this small market team.
No, we need to label it.
And games like last night are unbelievable. Like he was perfect last night. Like, he was one of the best playoff, games I've ever seen. But when you talk about a superstar level, like Lou said, there's guys that are grandfathered in. The James Hardens, Kevin Durant's, Westbrook is a superstar still because of what he did in his resume. Now we're talking, I think we throw the word around too much. Even Jalen Brunson, he's more of a superstar than Tyrese Haliburton, but there is levels.
Hold on, still levels. Today
I think that comes with being a Knick. I think it's the market of New York City. I think that fame and recognition and notoriety that he gets just simply playing in a bigger market helps his case of being a superstar. But I do have some names here because now I want to
Are we doing this?
I want to ask. Because again, it varies too. It changes. It changes year to year.
We also can get blinded by the moment as well. Like these guys are having great runs, but this is a guy we were just talking about 2 weeks ago as being overrated.
Well, we didn't say that.
Of course, but you know we're projected. But it goes from overrated to superstar status in 2 weeks, being up 3-1 on the Knicks. These teams everybody has a lot of work to be done still. You know, the 4 teams that are left in these playoffs all have a budding superstar on that team.
Okay.
Nobody has done anything yet.
I like that.
Nobody has accomplished anything yet. At the end of the day, it's a 3-1 lead over here, 3-1 lead over there. Nobody has put hardware on. Until some of these things start to come to fruition, until some of those things are solidified and you can add them to your resume, you can add them to your status, then we start upgrading. Until then, these guys are budding superstars.
They're
And what's interesting is that both the teams that are down 3-1 have the more superstar status guy, Brunson over Haliburton. I think Anthony Edwards is viewed for some reason more of a superstar than SGA, even though he just won MVP and he's the best player on the best team. He's
got a lot more exposure.
It's exactly. It's the exposure. It's the recognition of him. It's the commercials, the ads. It's I don't even know if that was a word, but it's that all goes with it when you get labeled a superstar.
If let's just say the SGA Tyrese thing, because unless something crazy happens, perhaps that's our finals. One of them's going to win. One of them's going to be a champion. Does that make you a superstar? Like, when do you become one? Do we just know?
Again, when you start, you just know.
We just feel it.
You just know, you just feel it. And some of these guys get recognition, commercials, and the visibility based on projection. when people project you to be something, when you're on your way to being, not necessarily.
Ant's got that a lot.
Yeah, not necessarily when you've reached it already. You can see some, like even popular rookies that come in sometimes, they're on commercials and everything because it's a projection. We think that's what your status is going to be in years to come. And so it's okay for these guys to have work to do to get there. But again, if we're saying, you just made the distinction between Holly and Steph Curry. So if those guys are the marker, it's still levels to it. It's still another level for these guys to get to. And by the way, that's not a problem. If these guys have accomplished everything and they have superstar status so early in their careers without any real accolades, minus SGA and his MVP, but without real accolades, without real championships, and all of these things stacking on top of each other year after year, that's okay. They're still working. That's not a problem for me right now at this present moment.
And again, like Lou just hit on the head. There's just levels, there's tiers, and again, there's megastars like the Giannis's, the Stephs, the LeBrons, KD's, Kobe's. Those are no doubters. Private security, like everywhere they go, like
double A list.
Change the vibe in a whole room everywhere they go. That is a superstar. You can't go anywhere without getting recognized. You are all over the news, the ads, billboards, things like that. Then there's guys like Tyrese Haliburton that are very good. They're budding stars. Like Donovan Mitchell. Is Donovan Mitchell a superstar? Like
budding. Like he's right there. And then you have some guys that are right there on the fringe of either going this way or that way, depending on their next couple of seasons.
I don't know if Jason Tatum is considered a superstar. Like he's really good, and I think he's closer than a Haliburton or Donovan Mitchell. But again, like there's just levels to this fame, and I don't think those guys are quite there yet of these other guys that we've named. Like Jimmy Butler, is he a superstar? Is Jimmy Butler a superstar?
I'll go back to that.
One.
But I'll rip a Band-Aid off of this.
Okay.
There's no way these guys are solidified, and this is no diss to Tyrese or JT at all. But solidified superstars, it's no debate whether they should play or not on Team USA. Can we agree there?
So that would be a way to look at it.
That would be
Drew Holiday and
for sake of this argument.
Not superstars.
Yeah, for sake of this argument, like those are guys that are budding to be superstars.
Like we don't even think about.
Are they the next crop of all-stars? Are they the next crop of superstars in our league? Absolutely. But right now they're still building.
Yeah.
They're still building.
The Tatum, Donovan Mitchell ones.
Like is Devin Booker a superstar?
No, all these guys can build, and some of these guys can flame out.
So then, who are the superstars? Because you said 4 or 5. Like that's not very
there's
many.
Giannis, there's LeBron, there's Jokic, there's Luka, there's SGA, Ant, Steph.
But that's what so SGA, Ant, those
SGA's
are
probably the least
those are
superstar of the names I just named.
Everybody that he said, he just ran off about 6 or 7 guys. I would take out SGA and I would take out Ant-Man. That would round out 4 or 5 guys to me because they're budding.
So Wemby, not there yet.
Budding superstar.
But we assume he will be.
Of course.
It's funny, like Wemby not quite,
of
but
course.
James
all
Harden's
three of those
still
guys,
a superstar
yeah,
because of
all
what he's
three,
done.
SGA, Ant-Man, Wemby, those class of guys, I think they are the next class of superstars.
Can you lose, like the James Harden thing, can you lose your status as a superstar?
I think you can lose it a little bit, like you can lose it, but like everyone in the world they still know James Harden. You know? I mean, he still goes anywhere in the world, any country, and he's getting recognized as a mega NBA star.
Is that how we're defining it, though? Because then if we're starting to do that, that opens up a different conversation.
Superstar status, to me, is on and off the court, is on and off the field, in every...
like Westbrook averaged 8 points this year, 7 points. He's a superstar.
Is he a superstar?
He has to be from what
front
he's
row
done
everywhere
in his
he
life.
goes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Because now this area is getting grayer and grayer and grayer. Because if you can lose your superstar status, and I love Russell Westbrook, but do we still call him a superstar in the NBA?
I think at one point Paul George was a superstar. Now he's not.
Is Anthony Davis a superstar?
He's oof. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, I think he is.
Well, then we have way more than 4 or 5 superstars.
But again, how you can lose your superstar status, if you get old. That's one way. That's one way for somebody to say you can get old, but you can continue. You can have 4 or 5 great years and have superstar years, and then you can be washed after that. You can, and so it's 2 different ways to lose your superstar status. But again, if you're older and that's the way of you losing it, you're still going to be considered a superstar when you move around.
But yeah, like there's still guys like Tim Duncan and Dirk that they are superstars.
Forever.
No matter what they do, you can hide, you can run, but you can't hide. He's a superstar. It doesn't matter.
Shaquille O'Neal, superstar.
Nothing can change that.
Nothing can change that.
But if you were fringy in the begin with, then you can.
Nothing can. That's what I'm saying. Nothing
Okay.
can change your superstar status once you reach it. Now, can you be a superstar as far as popularity go?
Sure.
Can you lose it as far as popularity? Sure.
See, that's like a
but
good
you don't
one.
lose. I don't think you lose your status.
Like Zion has the popularity of a superstar, but he's not producing like a superstar like that.
No, because I don't think anybody would say he's a superstar currently.
he is it, but he is.
So back to Holly.
He can't.
Is-
He's a superstar.
No, he's not. But I'm saying he's
Superstar-
another good one where it's interesting because he
Back
is
to Holly.
famous.
Superstar status or not?
Yeah, like
right
the original
now today.
question.
No.
No. And
Agreed.
he's budding.
Agreed. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's on his way.
Yeah, that's not hating. That's not.
He's on his way.
He is a really, really good basketball player. He's probably the best, purest point guard, just as far as like pure, get your offense set, run a team. But superstar, I think there's levels, and I just don't think he's there yet.
Now,
Win a
what if-
championship, maybe it helps.
I was
but,
gonna say, so
again, I just
that's-
think he's 26 years old. Like he's building.
I do like this, though. We have two budding superstars in this particular series. What happens when one budding superstar mocks the other budding superstar's celebration
Then we talk about
after
it.
hitting a three? Because I don't know how y'all feel about this moment, but I think it's pretty,
I love it.
It's pretty
I love
funny.
I love Holly's his petty. Like he did this with Dame. He did this with
Really
Tyrese. I wish I had one more to round out three, but you know he just has
He'll get
these.
another
He
one.
did the choke.
Yeah.
He's-
Oh yeah, did the choke thing, and listen, he finds his guys that he wants to mock and have some fun inside of a game.
But the man's on the floor, and he did it right over.
I mean,
I respect that more than
Yeah.
anything. Don't do it behind my back. Do it to my face.
And by
I
the way,
respect that more than
it's-
anything.
He's an entertainer. Like he this is fun. This is great. And I love the Dame thing. And again, there's a level of respect and a balance you have to have. But now let's just play out basketball. And he is dominating the series. They are up 3-1. And again, he did the choke thing in game 1 of this series.
did.
So nothing has
And it was
changed.
only a 2. Who knew?
Yeah, nothing has changed with him, and this is just who he is. And I think this is why the overrated stuff and the players' kind of jealousy and hate on him happen, because he does bust your ass and he tells you about it, which is, again, no problem on
But
it.
I think that's what you're supposed to do.
I think it's great. He has that fire in him, and I think it's unbelievable. And I think he is taking his game to a whole nother level right before our eyes.
Can we talk a little Pascal Siakam? He's been very, very incredible in this one as well. Second 30-point game of the series. He's now, as a Pacer, been to 2 Eastern Conference Finals. We talk second options. We love lists, all that stuff. I feel like we've never mentioned Pascal Siakam as a perfect second option. Why not?
Yeah, well, we should, because he was that in Toronto when they won a championship, and now he's this on the way to possibly another championship. And they have no answer for him in the mid-post. He gets to his spots. And OG, great defender. Mikal Bridges, great defender. Cat, much bigger, stronger. Just look how he uses his body. He stops on a dime. He's athletic. He gets out in transition. He picks his spots. He's efficient. He truly has just flown under the radar. If Tyrese Haliburton is the most overrated player, which is ridiculous, this dude's the most underrated player. Like, he is so
Crazy.
good. He just produces. He gets his points, his rebounds. He doesn't take bad shots. He just goes about his business, and he is honestly the perfect second option that can go and be a first option. He can fit in. He can be a third option on some nights. It doesn't change, and he is fantastic.
What do you think, Lou? What have you seen from him so far?
I agree. He steadies this team, right? Like anytime that it feels like it's off the rails or they're playing too fast or they're playing out of control, he's the one constant that can kind of level everything out, especially with his post play. It doesn't matter, like Chandler just mentioned, it doesn't matter whether it's Cat or whether it's a smaller guard on him. He's going to take advantage when he's going to play with his back to the basket. And I like the skill level. Like the backboard shoot, the glass, we hadn't used the glass since Tim Duncan. Pascal Siakam, that's what he does. He can put that ball up, shoot it off the glass, up and under, all of those things that you want from a guy his size to put pressure on you 10 to 15 feet away from the rim. And that's what you need, especially in pivotal moments in a game. When teams are going on runs, you need a guy to be able to settle everybody down and put fires out. And Siakam has done that for them all year. And the playoffs, he's even done it at a higher clip and at a higher level.
Yeah,
Every
they're
single
so
time.
potent offensively, where they can hurt you in so many different ways. They have a pick and pop 5 in Turner. They surround Haliburton with shooters. Guys dive into the rim. Then when it gets slowed down, you have the luxury of going to Siakam in the mid post. But it all starts with Tyrese Haliburton. In this game, I feel like we didn't talk about it enough. He had 15 assists, 0 turnovers. The Knicks had 17 assists, 17 turnovers.
We're gonna get to that.
He was so good and just makes the right pass, and he leaves his feet all the time, and like I don't know how he doesn't turn the ball over, because his usage rate is through the roof. He makes insane passes, and he's such a security blanket for this team and for this offense. He's got to be Rick Carlisle's dream to be running this offense.
I would think so. I think Rick Carlisle's pretty stoked today. Yeah, let's do the Knicks situation here because 17 turnovers, bad shots, bad fouls, bad defense. It was